Hello everyone, my name is Abdullah Yusuf Abu Shawish. I'm a master's student in University of Sharjah in Electrical and Electronic Engineering Department, and I am glad to be here with you today. Today I would like to discuss a systematic literature review about PID controller gains tuning using metaheuristic optimization techniques. So the content will be as follows: PID overview, where the PID controller will be explained in general; related work, where a quick discussion over some related work will be provided; methodology, which elaborates the methodology used to provide the systematic literature review; the research questions, where the chosen research questions will be mentioned and explained; and then the search terms that has been used will be explained; the survey resources, where the resources of the research paper will be specified, the inclusion and exclusion criteria were followed, the quality assessment rules we follow, and finally the result will be stated. PID controller is a control loop mechanism employing feedback that is widely used in industrial control system and a variety of other applications requiring continuously modulated control. A PID controller continuously calculates an error value as the difference between a desired set point and the measured process variable and applies a correction based on proportional, integral, and derivative terms, which denoted as Pi and D. And the balance of those effects is achieved by loop tuning to produce the optimal control function, and the tuning constants are shown as K here, where proper tuning means better performance. For the related work, several reviews have been presented in the topic of proportional, integral, and derivative control gain tuning methods. The first one, which is Bansal et al., which reviewed modern and classical methods for PID controller gain tuning and have classified them into two categories: the classical method and the optimization methods. And the comparison has been used using have been employed using different techniques such as GA, genetic algorithm, and colony optimization, and artificial neural network. Kosal et al. Performed a review study on PID controller gain tuning that provides an efficient and promising performance using various swarm optimization methods such as the PSO and colony and many others also. And he also provided a comparative study that details the pros and contrasts of each optimization method. And lastly, in the reference 5 illustrated a review on the tuning of PID controller gain used in the application of controlling a DC motor speed using soft computer method. The soft computing method used in this paper are genetic algorithm, particle swarm optimization, and the fuzzy logic. The inspiration of this survey is derived from the extended reach of our knowledge that almost no review concentrates on metaheuristic optimization methods and systemically review by clearly identifying research questions on the topic. So going here in the methodology, the survey is based on the systematic literature review presented by Kitchenham and Charter's methodology. It consists of three phases: planning, conducting, and reporting. The planning phase, the need for review will be identified, the research question will be raised, and the review protocol will be explained. But in the conducting phase, we pass through three stages, which are the selection, the quality assessment, and the data extraction. And finally, the data will be synthesized and the result will be stated in the reporting phase. Okay, so this picture demonstrates the review protocol, where the protocol starts with identifying research questions, then setting search terms and specifying resources, performing research, identifying selection criteria, identifying quality assessment rules, applying selection and filtration criteria. And if we find then more article, then the filtration process will be repeated. But if there is no more paper, then the papers will go through the data extraction, and then the data will be synthesized, and will be the end of the review protocol. So now, what are the research questions that we stated? First one, which is, what are the optimization techniques used in tuning PID gains? And what are the domains? The second question is, what are the domains which used the optimization techniques in PID controller tuning? And the final question is, what is the most effective optimization algorithm used in tuning PID among the selected paper, and why it is the most efficient? Now going through the search terms, those are the search terms that we have used in order to find the papers. And we found those papers through some resources, which are the Google Scholar, Science Direct, IEEE Explorer, Springer, ACM Digital Library. Okay, so now we will go through the steps and the selection process steps. And as shown in figure 3, the steps are described and they are as follows. Step 1, eliminating the identical papers from the online resources. Step 2, eliminating the review papers from the chosen papers. Step 3 is applying the criteria of inclusion and exclusion criteria of the selected paper. And finally, we apply a quality assessment rule to find the most suitable answers for the questions raised. And then we will go through the inclusion and exclusion criteria, where we include the papers that mention PID gain tuning, we include the journal and conference papers, we include the papers that present optimization technique and especially the used metaheuristic methods in optimization. We include the paper that compare between different metaheuristic methods and the paper also that compare between the proposed evolutionary method and the conventional method. And finally, we choose a timeline which is from 2010 to 2018 to find the papers that published around those dates. And then in the exclusion criteria, we exclude the paper that did not mention the PID gain tuning exactly, and we exclude the paper that did not use the metaheuristic methods, and also we exclude the paper that did not mention anything about optimization algorithm. So after that, we conclude that we have 22 papers were used in this review, and this is the result of the filtration procedure. The final step is to identify the selected paper by applying the quality assessment rule, which will help in evaluating the research paper, where we put a value from 1 to 6 to each paper. If the value is 1, then the answer is fully, then the question is fully answered. 0.75 is above the average, 0.5 is average, 0.25 is below the average, and 0 is not answered. The gross score of each paper is the summation of the quality assessment rule score, and the paper that scored 3.5 or above were included. And those are the quality assessment rules, which are the objectives of the research paper identified clearly. Question 2 is, does the paper give enough background information about PID gain tuning? Question 3 is, are the algorithm used clearly mentioned? Question 4, is the proposed metaheuristic algorithm compared with other algorithm or with the conventional methods? Then are the problems that need to be optimized mentioned clearly? And finally, does the paper considered useful or not? And then in this stage, the result we get from the review will be discussed, where each one of the research questions will be answered in a separate subsection. So we will have 3 subsections in total. The answer will be extracted from the 22 selected paper, which implemented the optimization technique in PID gain tuning. And as we can see here in the table, the quality distribution based on the quality assessment rules are stated, where we have the range of total mark of QAR, the frequency, and the percentages. Now, to answer the first research question, we found many metaheuristic algorithms that were used in PID gain tuning, which are the genetic algorithm, bacterial for aging optimization, artificial bee colony, fruit fly optimization, particle swarm optimization, ant colony, firefly, and evolutionary programming. And we can infer from the graph that the GA, PSO, and ACO have the highest percentage among the whole, with 71%. And next, the ABC, ant bee colony, with 11%, and the other techniques with 29%, which are the rest. Now, for the second research questions, we have many domains that apply the optimization technique in PID gain tuning. 5 general domains were identified are listed as follows, which are the mechanical engineering, solar energy, power system, magnetisms, and the industrial. And we can see here from the figure that the most active domain that use PID gain tuning with the optimization technique is the power system domain. and the mechanical engineering domain with a percentage of 36% and 32% respectively. The third active domain, which is the industrial, with a percentage of 24%, and the fourth and the fifth were the magnetism and the solar energy with percentage of 8% for each, for the whole of them. And for the research question 3, searching deeply in the selected research paper, we found that the PSO is the mostly used algorithms among all other optimization algorithms, then the ASCO, and then the genetic algorithm. But why PSO considered the most efficient? Because it gives the best result and the most efficient solution, where it is applying a swarm of particles. Those particles are considered as candidate solutions for PID controllers. And genetic algorithm has a lot of long procedure, which includes selection, crossover, and mutation, which consider a long process compared to PSO. And why PSO is better than ACO? Because ACO, it can easily fall wrongly to the local optima, and this is due to the lack of guiding process that leads to a good solution. And then we'll go to the limitations, where in our study we only include the journal and conference papers. And after applying the filtration process, many irrelevant articles were found from the large number of papers, and those irrelevant articles consist the majority of the papers. And also one of the limitations is only the optimization technique which were suggested and used in more than one paper are considered in this review. And finally, the quality assessment rules were applied to filter our search results, which lead to synthesize those results. To conclude, all the research papers stated in all the research questions stated in the review has been answered. Well, for the first research question, the most used optimization technique was the PSO, GA, and ACO. For research question 2, the most active area was the power system. And for research question 3, the PSO considered the most efficient optimization technique. And for future work, we can include and we can extend the timeline, including more paper into the review. We can raise more research questions, and we can look for more methods of tuning PID controller like fuzzy logic techniques. And this is the end of my presentation. Thank you everyone for listening, and thank you again.